Hello, hello, boyos and girlos. I just watched season 5 of Bojack Horseman, and I wanted to do my real quick thoughts on it. Oh boy, this season, man. Um, I don't know how long this is gonna be. I want to keep this short, but it might be really long. But I don't care. I want to talk about this season. Spoilers, by the way, don't get spoiled. Black. um, um, yeah. So I just finished the season about an hour ago. I did talk to my buddy Lime about it. Actually, me and Lime were going to do a little podcast on it, but we didn't really know how to work it out. And that's a shame because I was looking forward to that. But I'm still gonna talk about the season anyways. Um, I don't know whether or not I like this season more than season 4, but that's not saying that this is anywhere even near a bad season at all because season 4 is amazing, and I'd say this is about as good as season 4. Like, it's so good. I don't think it had as many, like, you know, intense moments as season 4 did, but there were some real highlights of this season. Um, I don't know what to talk about first. Um, I guess what's interesting, this is definitely about Bojack's show Filbert, um, and gosh, I have no idea. Like, where do I start with this? There's so much to talk about with this season. I guess I'll just go down and talk about just all of the characters and what they got up to this season. Um, Bojack, I was a little worried in the trailer that Bojack would go back to his season 1 self, but he really didn't. You know, obviously he still has flaws, but you can see that he's been improving. Like, he's trying to get better. And at the end of the season, he goes to rehab because, he does end up getting addicted to drugs, but it's not like it's not like he wanted to. It's not like the season 1 episode where, like, Bojack, Todd, and Princess Carolyn, not Princess Carolyn, Sarah Lynn, they have similar names. Like, they all go on, they all have drugs, or like that episode in season 3 where Bojack and Sarah Lynn do drugs. Um, this time, like, Bojack, at first it's for his back, but, like, then he starts getting addicted to them. Um, but, like, not on purpose. It's like, it's an accident. Um, and, yeah, there's definitely growth in his character. Um, Diane, too, gets growth in her character. By the way, I totally called that Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter would get divorced. I guess that's not that big a surprise, but um, yeah, in season 4, especially Diane, like, she was still a good character, but she was a really bad person. Um, uh, and in this season, there's definitely growth in her character, especially in the second episode where she tries to find herself, and um, it doesn't end up working out, but she's still trying. Like Bojack's, she's still trying to get better. Um, and there's a lot of good character interactions this season. Um, um, and Mr. Peanut Butter, he finds a new girlfriend. I wasn't really that crazy about the girlfriend character, the pug. I mean, I don't know. She was okay. She was fine, but she was just a little annoying at times. Um, but she was fine. Um, and there's Todd, who Todd actually does a lot this season. I was surprised that they had his asexual thing. Um, that got as much focus as it did. It probably got more focus than it did in season 4, and I like how they covered up that the only problem with the Todd's asexual thing in season 4 was that they made it out to be that, like, asexuals, none of them enjoy sex, and even though that's probably true for most asexuals, asexuals can still enjoy sex, and they do mention that this season, so I am glad about that. And also Emily comes back, which is really cool. And there's there's the sex robot that like becomes Todd's boss, and it's great. And it's like a Henry Fondler, I think. That's great. Um, yeah, the season was really funny, too. Um, Also, something about like um the episode where Todd has to pretend that he's not asexual, in order to not be judged by Yolanda's family. Like, I don't know. I've had that sort of experience before. Like when I was still trying to figure out whether or not I'm asexual, I around my friends I'd oftentimes have to pretend to be attracted to girls. Um, and I don't know. It's just kind of relatable to me, um, and I think the way BoJack handles Todd's asexuality is very realistic and very well done, and yeah, definitely one of the only good examples of asexual representation in shows. Um, so that's cool. And there's Princess Carolyn, who she tries to adopt a baby and things go crazy. Princess Carolyn always has the worst luck, man. Like especially that episode in season 4, the episode Ruthie. Like, the ending of Ruthie. Like, oh gosh. Um, but like this season, everything just goes wrong for Princess Carolyn all the time, and I feel so bad for her because she's such a likable character. Um, but thankfully, she does get to adopt her child, so that's nice. There'll probably be some of Princess Carolyn raising her child in season 6. I mean season 6. Um, so that's good. Um, I was wrong about BoJack and Princess Carolyn kind of becoming friends again. They do. I mean, their relationship pretty much stays how it did in season 4. They talk sometimes. I'm glad that they brought Rolf back though, because I really liked Rolf. Even if it's just for one episode, I like Rolf, and I'm glad that he came back. Hollyhock also came back, and just for one episode. I mean, technically she appears in the first episode, but I don't know. I was a little disappointed that they didn't show her meeting her mother. Like they don't even mention it. They just kind of brush it aside, and instead like she was in college. I don't know how I feel about that. I was a little disappointed actually. But that's whatever. I mean, I still liked seeing her in the one episode she was in because Hollyhock is also a very likable character. Um, what else is there? There's so much to talk about. Um, I guess I'll talk about some more specific episodes. The feminist episode is one of the funniest episodes of this entire show. Like, the way that they mock feminism in that episode is so on point. It's so great. Choking woman is bad. Oh, it's such a good episode. Um, One of the most interesting episodes to me is the Sits episode, where it's just, Beatrice's funeral, and, like, it's just 25 minutes of Bojack talking, and it sounds really boring, and when I'm watching the episode, I feel like I should be bored, but I'm not. It's so fascinating. Um, just, it's hard to explain, but the way that Bojack, what the heck? Bojack is portrayed in that episode is so realistic, and like you just get to see the real type of person that Bojack is, and it's so incredible. Like it should be boring, but it's not, and like it's also kind of funny. Like there's some good jokes. It's not just sadness, but you also get to see like how Bojack really wanted to have a good connection with his mom, and like there are parts where he came really close, but he never got that, and uh, like it's so depressing. Um, But there's a good ending gag where like it turns out he was at the wrong funeral. That's great. What else? The 11th episode. I mean, the 11th episode of every season is usually just so intense, but this this one was so cool because like it's confusing because we don't know. It's confusing, which means it's really smart. No, it's confusing because like you don't know, like, is this the show that Bojack's on, or is this real life? And you don't really understand until the very end. Um, but like, it's so cool the way that they switch back and forth, and just the way that the story is told. Like again, it should be confusing, and it kind of is, but it's good. It's good storytelling. Like, man, that episode. Um, oh gosh. Um, yeah, there's so much to talk about with this season. Um, I do like the way that Todd and Yolanda break up. Like, it's not like they have this big fight and then, suddenly, um, they break up. It's like Todd says, well, the only thing we have in common is that we're asexual, and, there's not much else. Um, and like they don't, and like they still end on good terms. It's like, well, if in 100 years, if I don't find an asexual partner, then um, like that's it gets sweet. It's um, I don't know. I like that about Todd, that like he's not even when uh like he's never a jerk to people. He's probably the only like um well, not, I don't know. He's probably the only like pure character in the show. Like he's just really likable. Um and oh, what else? Um I don't know. Um the Halloween episode was also really cool, where like it cuts from each different um Halloween at Bojack's house, with all of Mr. Peanut Butter's different wives. That episode's really cool. Um Yeah, man. I don't know. I think I'm gonna end this here because I could talk for ages, but this is getting kind of long. So yeah, excellent season. About as good as season four. Still not sure if it's better or worse. I'm probably gonna rewatch the entire show, um, at uh, some point soon. Um, but yeah, just a great season overall. Um, I definitely recommend. BoJack is still my favorite cartoon, honestly. Um, oh man, um, great season. Anyways, please tell me what you think about this season in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Kirby out.